And good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio. I've been on about 2 weeks, seems like it. Nevertheless, my colleague Earl Bates has been at the controls. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rollins. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Good afternoon to you. What's the young lady name there?
Shelly Thunder.
Shelly Thunder. I know. I'm sorry. Please accept. Yeah. But I've been working. It's good to have you in the controls. You're sitting there for Don Bassett. So.
For sure, yeah. This is our last week here on the big station, having a great time. And even before we get started, kudos for all you guys in production for the great coverage of election.
Oh, teamwork.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
And when you do it right, you deserve, to be congratulated. I've seen a lot of professional production, and it was really spot on. Earl and I were talking about it before, so we want to shout out to all of our great staff.
Thank you. Just want to let you know I need you in another next station soon too.
That's fine. Yes, I'm the catch rider. Earl knows about that. I'm the catch rider.
Yeah, the catch rider. Okay.
Whichever horse doesn't have a jockey right now. I'm the catch rider.
That's a cool
Saddle
one.
up.
Saddle up. Okay. Cool. Well, good afternoon to you again, Mr. Basin. How you been on the sports side? I haven't talked to you in
Sports has been busy.
Yeah?
Sports has been busy. A lot of sports going on locally. A lot of stuff going on. So, from sailing through to running, swimming, hockey, karate.
So things are definitely falling back into place.
Oh yeah.
COVID-19.
Pretty much most of the winter stuff that happens outside has begun.
That's a good sign.
The indoor winter stuff is due to start in November. I know volleyball's league will get underway in November, and
that's it.
So everybody's pretty much following the government guidelines, following the government instructions, and getting their sports back up and running. So yeah.
I was stopped a week ago when people saying there was no cup match, there was no May 24th, but 2 weeks something and Eastern counties and Western counties and so forth, and various other sports too. And they said, "Do you think we'll have those events next year?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not the government of the day. I can't really answer that.
Right.
It obviously depends on the health and safety, which is the utmost importance.
Yeah.
If things fall into place and they go well, yes, I can see sports happening. Yes, there will be limited numbers coming through because the virus is still there. And will the vaccine be ready? Well, it depends. If it's Trump's vaccine, it may be ready. In his case, brain dead, but nevertheless, there could be the Eastern counties and cup match and so forth, and the May 24th and various other big time sports. And
I just think a lot of it will get back because you have to get. The bottom line is you're going to have to live with it.
That's true.
And we're just going to have to go on as safely as possible to ensure that life gets back to some normalcy. No, we don't want to outbreak. No, we don't want to go back to lockdown. But we have to manage it. And I think we've done that respectively of the conditions that we're presented with on a daily basis. You see businesses are now open. It's one of those things where we have to respect the laws. You have a few people that don't want to respect them, so you just can't go in a shop. You just can't. You just can't. Go into a business. You just can't. If you don't want to respect the law right now, then you exclude yourself from everybody else, and basically that's what will happen. If we turn around and have May 24th, and the government says the only people not wearing masks are the people taking part in the race. But everybody on the street wear masks, then that's what we have to do. And especially if you're in confined areas such as along Cedar Avenue, along Front Street, you just police that. Right. You know what I mean? If that's the same for cup match, if you're inside your tent or your plot, then you can take your mask off. But if you're walking around the grounds, obviously they're going to want people to wear masks. And it's simple as that. If you don't want to do it, there's the gate. Simple.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, culturally, we've all adapted really well.
Yeah.
It's a mitigating factor. It's feels like second nature.
Mm-hmm.
I get off my bike and go somewhere, put my glasses and my mask.
Yeah.
It's just like I keep my mask and my glasses.
Right.
It's like a no-brainer because
Yeah.
we've adapted.
Yeah.
We had our first event over the weekend, the first hunt of the Bermuda Hunt Club.
Right.
And yes, I want him to wear a mask. And yes, if you walk up to the bar, you have to put your mask on. And if you went and sat down with your stable food, you
Mm-hmm.
enjoy different stuff, you could take your mask
Yeah.
off. So it's all about being normal. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think the biggest thing that is being worked out feverishly as far as it relates to sports is the commerce around it as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Right.
I mean? Because when it comes to spectator sports, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
That's
Right.
where the commerce comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
those are the things that are, becoming okay. We want to have commerce, we'll put our mask on.
So
You know?
let's do this horse and buggy down here. The
Harness.
Beasley Street.
Harness.
Yeah,
Harness
harness
Pony
racing
Racing.
starts next month.
Yeah, they got a few more things to sort out.
A couple things to sort out.
But they also got to clean up the track as well. So.
Yeah,
Right.
there was some damage and there's some renovation that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like that.
So things like this will obviously be in place.
Absolutely. And the thing
And
about
with
harness racing too, I know we know this is, it's very much bubbles of
Yeah,
people
everybody's stables are separated anyway. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
at the ground as
Right.
their competitor wise.
Right.
And when it comes to our spectators, unless we get 100 people show up, there's enough room for
Yeah.
people to spread out. Certain people have access to sit in their car
Mm-hmm.
while they watch and stuff like that. And they're talking about adapting certain things where people can maybe sit in the center of the room as
Right.
opposed to just. But all of these things are being worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Pony racing, like a lot of things on the island when it comes to equestrian sports specifically, there's some peaks and valleys. And right now it's it's in a bit of a it was leveled out for a while as far as how many competitors, how many ponies on the island. And as things become the new normal again, people got young ponies coming up for the first time again this year, so it'll pick up and young people being interested in racing too. Very few juniors were part of the situation that all went off to college last season.
Right.
So
Right.
now we're waiting for some more to sort of come up through the ranks
Ranks,
type
yeah.
thing,
Right.
So
Interesting. Interesting. Wow. Wow. So definitely these are definitely in place for fall sports.
Yeah, definitely. I just think everybody has to get uh, their legal stuff done through the health ministry and through obviously national security, and then they have guidelines and they meet with their stakeholders, or such as the clubs and not the players but the clubs, to ensure that they can. I mean, and I'll use football. Or they have to make sure that they are capable of meeting the requirements.
Right.
If not, then something has to be worked out where they might not be able to host a game until they are able to meet the requirements that are necessary.
What's it been like again? Because I haven't been to any league games because of work, uh, the election things that so forth. What's it been like the turnout following the guidelines? Because I had this conversation about 2 or 3 weeks ago
Mm.
that if you're in, and some people may not want to leave because the numbers people are
Right.
asking for, government's asking for. What's the response been like at those games?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, they had a double header at Wellington Oval yesterday, and pretty much that's been the only double header, I believe, thus far this season, other than the Dudley Eve matches. And I think people have adapted to it. The Dudley Eve matches have been at the stadium, and that you can get 1,000 people at the stadium. The other grounds, such as Wellington Oval yesterday, would have been 350 spectators in total. So, that's manageable. And I just think it needs to be an understanding of how things materialize throughout. Um, yeah, and I think for the most part, when cricket worked through the hardships, football just has to pick up where they left off.
So basically, everyone's following that template.
That template has been set, been done, and it's just a matter of let's just follow what's out here, and let's just continue on and ensuring that everybody stays safe, everybody understands what goes on. So nobody wants to be home from work. Nobody, because after how many months of being locked up in your house. So when you start thinking of that and you start saying, you know what, I don't want to go back there. But if you're irresponsible, you might take somebody else there.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the message that is always put out there. It's not just about you anymore. It's about the people around you. So, And the one big fear that we've seen over the entire time of this COVID thing is you getting it and taking it back to your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, an elderly person that lives in your area that now becomes infected because you was around somebody who was irresponsible.
The speech you're giving me right now, this statement you're giving, you need to give it to the world.
No, I don't.
Give
No,
it to the world
no,
leaders.
no. Well, to the world leaders.
To the world leaders.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy that ran parading down the street in his car.
That's what I'm talking about. The world leaders. Yeah, I'm talking about him. Yeah. So
listen,
what you're saying makes total common sense, right? And that's why you applaud people like the premier and his cabinet for stressing the importance of this.
Yes.
That's why it's under control. And yes, we're not easing up on it. We're still following the guidelines as you mentioned.
Yeah.
But there are others in this world who see otherwise.
Yeah. Who lack that responsibility for not just themselves, but the people around them. This morning you heard all the backlash from members of the Secret Service. They were kind of forced to do that yesterday, and they're saying that okay, I'm here to take a bullet for the guy, but I ain't here to catch corona from him. That's just irresponsible. That's irresponsible.
And they're saying now that there are statements coming out that some of the Secret Service guys saying he doesn't care about us.
Yeah,
he never did from the
jump.
Start.
Yeah,
from the jump. Right?
And you know what, Ian? He has shown over and over and over and over again that he does not care about anybody but himself. He's not even concerned about family members.
No.
It was discussed once everyone found out he had COVID or the symptoms of COVID. They talked about when he did the debate. He came in and none of his entourage was wearing a mask.
They refused because the guidelines were set again.
Right.
And they got there and said, no, we're not
wearing them. They were offered masks when they sat down and they said no. And Biden's team walked in, his wife and his entourage walked in, everyone wearing a mask. He took his mask off when he went on the stage. Once he was on the stage and ready to speak. And those type of small things, people watch that and believe it or not, some people say, you know what? If he ain't doing it, I ain't doing it.
Sad.
Yeah.
Just want to change the goalpost a bit, right? I just got a text from this gentleman, right? Who's a big Arsenal fan, right? They're saying I'm stalling.
No, you're not.
I'm not stalling.
No, you're not.
Right? Because I can take my licks.
I am waiting for 137.
37?
Yeah.
Oh. Please.
It's 131. I'm waiting for 137. Trust me. I missed the 127. I'm waiting for the 137.
You lost me in that one.
Every 7, you're going to get 7.
There's like 117.
Oh, yeah. We missed 117 and we missed 127. I say it all the way until 137.
I call it. Okay. All right.
We ain't stalling. No.
So for what Earl is getting at, for the football fans out there, like the Arsenals who all called me yesterday, do you think that they won the league? They had won the league since 2005 or 6 or something like that. I can't remember offhand.
But before you say any further, talk about 2 hours prior to you getting 7, because that's
where 45 minutes.
45. Well, no, 2 hours that it started.
Okay.
Right. Because there was a lot of laughter and a lot of talk going on once that 6-1 happened.
Right.
Yeah, and then
you didn't hear from me?
Well, no. The grounds in which I was at, there was a lot of Liverpool people there talking and teasing.
Right.
There were a lot of depressed Man United fans walking around, but one said, "But I hope you don't lose."
Yeah.
Not only did you lose,
we got hammered.
Oh,
right?
Gracious.
That was embarrassing.
When was the last time you took 7?
I don't know, but we're the first team in English Premier League history as defending champions
to lose by 5 goals.
No, to give up 7 goals.
Oh wow!
There were 4 other teams. 3 other teams that had 6. Then obviously we made number 4 to give up 6 goals, but then we gave up 7. In my case, I think we could have given up 10. Right. It was that bad. I don't know if you saw the game.
No,
right?
I didn't.
But
see
it was bad. It was bad. And I know what? We deserved it. And I'm not looking for any excuses. Credit to Aston Villa. I think we played as if we were underestimating them. It wasn't the same team that played to a performance that we beat Arsenal the week before. or last week I should say, 3-1 Arsenal in the league game. Right, it wasn't that type of performance, but nevertheless, credit to Aston Villa. Shari, maybe if you're listening, I always tease you because you're an Aston Villa fan, thick and thin. Credit to them, they won 7-2. Sounds like a weird score, but it is a score. And hey, walked all over us. What's his name? Jack Grealish. He made my right back, Alexander Arnold. God, I can't get his name.
Can't even get his name out.
He looked like he just started.
He's got more than 7 letters in his name. That's what it is.
That's what it is. You're probably right. Right. I mean, he ate him apart, man. Right, Van Dijk. Looked like he was playing in the Scottish Premier League.
No, all of them had their minds. All of them had their minds on the international break. I'll give you an excuse.
No, I'm not looking for excuses.
No,
we lost. Our goalkeeper. That's why it's the backup. That's part of the game.
Well,
part of the game, mate. They won fair and square.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. They try to play the offside trap high.
They got beaten that many times.
That many times, bro. Especially on the counter. That many times. The midfield, Wijnaldum, showed his age. That guy looked tired. Hey.
They got a few weeks off now going to Europe.
Yeah. My goalkeeper's hurt, though. My number one goalkeeper.
How long he been out?
6 weeks.
Oh, well. The international break's 2 weeks, right? This time around, right?
But when I come back and play everything.
And are they ain't they top of the table or close to it?
They're top. They're the top.
The Merseyside derby will be the blue side this time around.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's almost to that magical number, mate. At 37, we'll take a 7-second commercial break. Yeah, we have to take a commercial break. But credit to Aston Villa. Yes. Credit to West Ham, Mr. Clyde Best, if you're listening. Good work on you guys on your behalf. Man, 3-0. Yeah. You know what? What's funny about it, right? I saw some comments about that result and people stating how in the world could a team beat Manchester City the week before and then turn around and lose to West Ham. And I'm like, and we often talk about it, that anybody playing in that Premier League can win a game. That's right. The game starts at 0-0, and if you perform that day, and such as
Liverpool,
we
beat Arsenal 3-1.
Yeah.
But 6 days later, you're losing 7-2.
Yeah. So it's one of those times where that team puts all their chances away. On another given day, they miss 7 chances.
That's
right. 7 chances, and still concede those 2. But we're at 37, so we'll take that 37, that 7-minute pause commercial break.
Before we take that commercial break, just want to say hello to our good friend Lady Gibbons.
Oh yes,
she's saying hi to me.
Oh, of course, she better be.
Yeah,
she better. Well,
right, yeah.
Had you not lost 7-2, would she have sprung into you?
You need to ask her. Lady Gibbons, they want to know would you have said hello to me? Have you not lost 7-2?
Listen, and she'll know why I said that.
I know why.
There was a lot of long faces last evening. But then when the Liverpool score came in, there were some smiley faces because, well, both teams lost by 5 goals.
I know.
Yeah. So, but the claim was one team had 10 and the other team had 11. And Manchester United had a player sent off.
It's a part of the game too, mate.
Well, yes.
It's a part of the game.
They should have paid the referee a little more.
I ain't saying that. Someone just texted me. Liverpool should hire Earl as a motivational speaker.
Oh, no, they don't. No, sir. Well, the first thing I'll do is tell them they need to change the colors. If they don't wear blue, they'd have been wearing like blue and dark blue yesterday. You wouldn't have lost no 7-2.
Well, could be a motivational speaker for City.
Who?
City. They're blue.
City's all right. Did they lose this weekend?
They drew. Leeds.
Oh, no, that's the seed. Leeds are on a little high.
Yeah.
They've come back and they got a point to prove. So they're basically playing out of their shoes. Pretty much, pretty much like Wolves did.
But they're playing some good football.
Yeah.
They're playing some good football.
The problem will come once the season gets on do they have a big enough squad to continue that way? Because once
Second
injuries
half of the
start
season.
coming in,
Thank
and
you very
it's a
much.
lot of football.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of football.
yeah.
Man.
So
A lot of football.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's take a commercial break, and when we come back,
We'll have 7 more talks about 7 giving up goals from Liverpool.
just let listeners know you want to give us a call, please give us a call. We have no guests today besides Dave Wolf, but of course we're playing catch up with a lot of things in sports because of being away for a while. But we're back on board, but we just open the lines to everyone, so we're going to take a commercial break.
And before we take that break, let me just say this. Ian did not want any guests to torment him, so he knows he can cut the lines off when you call, so please call. Please call.
Jeez, that's a low blow. That is not true at all. Okay, I'm coming after you after this commercial break. I'm coming. and, and welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Just to clarify things, I did not say that what Mr. Daisy said, but nevertheless, I can understand this situation. The team is not winning. Get it. There we go. Next.
You was talking about a low blow? That's not low.
I'm not finished.
That's not low.
That's not low.
St. George's hasn't won the cup for a few
I wasn't
years.
talking about St.
Yes, you
George.
were.
I was just
Yes,
talking
you
about
was.
winning, period.
Yes, you was.
I was
And the
not
fact that St. George's lost to Somerset yesterday, 1-0. It's all good. It's all good.
It's always
You
gonna be
must
good.
first learn how to lose to become a champion.
I've been there for 30 years.
Well, you might have to wait.
I was there for 30 and 20.
Well, you might have to wait another 30.
Think so?
Another performance like that, you might have to fire the entire team and lead the coach by himself instead of firing the coach. Because that's a mistake that they all keep making.
That what, fire the coach?
They keep firing the coach.
Oh, yeah. But in this case, we're not going to fire any players and coaches. It's a learning process, and we learned a lot from this. Embarrassment? Of course. Put their jersey on, that was embarrassment, man. Total embarrassment.
Okay.
I take that.
Yeah.
So, switching up a bit. The Olympics. Do you think it's still going to be on course for next year, 2021?
It will take place. It will probably have half the stadiums filled, if not 3/4 of the stadiums filled. They will not fill them all, but the games will take place with the required amount of numbers of participants. As we've seen, we've had the London Marathon take place with elite runners. We've had triathlon elites start again. We've the indoor sports again, just like in Bermuda, have struggled to get going, but they will eventually get going. A lot of training camps have been allowed to resume in anticipation of the Olympics and the qualifiers, because there's still quite a few people that have to qualify or need to qualify to make the game. So I just think, yeah, the in Tokyo there's a lot of talk about how the games will look once they get started, And the latest that I saw just this morning was that most Tokyo people believe the games will be played in front of maybe three-quarters of a stadium as opposed to a full stadium. So
that's promising, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at one time, yes, they set a date, but it still didn't look good
hmm
um, to host the rescheduled Olympic
Yeah.
dates, right?
Yeah.
But that's a promising
No.
thing.
Well, I had a chat with the the Canuck president, Mr. Brian Lewis, who's from Trinidad, and he's the president of this region's Caribbean Association of Sports. And in our conversation, he was indicating that the Olympics is such a big event, both for the athlete and for the organizers as well as the IOC, that in reality it's got to happen.
Right.
It's one of those things where you're always going to have people on the other side saying no, cancel it, but looking at the financial problems that would cause, um, and remember, athletes do this for a living, and part of that is on show at the Olympics to get a major contract.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So without that, you're 8 years waiting, because from 2016, imagine if we didn't have the Olympics in 2021, the next time those people will be on show will probably be their retirement year.
2024.
Right.
That's true.
So it's one of those things where you got to look at it in many different ways, and then just like the governments around the world, you have to make a business decision. The business decision for Bermuda was to shut it down, try and keep the virus out, so we can gradually open back up, which that's what's happened. And as we see now, most of the cases are inbound; they're not local. You know what I mean? So, okay, and right now they're minimum. Now we have we have three major events coming up in 3 weeks' time.
PGA.
Yeah.
Rugby.
Rugby and the Gold Cup sailing. Right. So we're talking. If you look at the golf, and I'll just use players and caddies. So you're talking 132 players, right? And a caddy, right? Okay, say 3 spots go to Bermuda. So you're talking about 130 players and 130 caddies.
That's 260.
Right. The rugby are bringing in 10 teams, eight teams of 20.
That's 160.
Okay. The sailing's got 16 teams, and it's 4 per boat. And it's only one local team. So 15 times 4.
There you go. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So
if 60 right there.
Right. So we're talking about 500 people in a short space of time coming to the island. They're going to quarantine. They're going to do everything that they can. However, you're going to expect at least 5 of those people out of that group will test positive.
And that's in a span of like 5 weeks or something, or 6
Well,
weeks.
the rugby's over a period of 3 weekends.
That's right, 3 weekends is different.
The golf is 1 weekend,
which is the end of this month.
Right.
Starts, right.
And the sailing is a whole week. So the rugby players start coming. The first group should be here October 14th. No quarantine, and then they'll be allowed to go to training at various places. The golfers will start coming in probably October 20th, if not sooner. Right. The last date to apply to get a spot is the Friday before the event.
So wait, if the golf tournament is on the 26th, right?
26th.
To November 3rd?
No,
November 1st.
First, yeah.
Sorry. Wouldn't the golfers have to come probably
Well,
19th?
In the press conference, it was announced that the golfers have been given special grants. So as long as they test negative before they come,
right.
They get tested on day 1 when they arrive.
Right.
If they are negative, then they will not need to be tested again.
While they're here?
Yes.
That's kind of odd, don't you think?
Well,
and I say that because look at all the sports that's happening in North America and Europe,
right,
where athletes or teams are playing their events on the weekend, and they're at least being tested twice per week.
Right. So basically, the PGA do testing daily themselves.
That's fine.
Right. Because remember, they've had players caught day 2 that had to withdraw from the tournament.
Get it. So my point is this: why stop because you're coming to Bermuda?
Well, no. That's what they're gonna do that's what Bermuda will do. Remember, in order to come to Bermuda, you have to have tests by a certified group.
Right.
Right. Then the Bermuda government people, our health people, will test them when they get to Bermuda. The PGA will take over daily testing after that.
Oh, okay. Interpretation.
Yeah, for us, that we won't be testing anymore.
Right. It's the PGA.
Yeah, they'll do the regular. They'll do the regular checks, how they do it in tournaments,
right,
each and every day.
Right.
And the same thing will happen pretty much for the rugby and the sailors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, why are you stopping?
Well, because for the golfers, once they get here, they're all staying at the same location. Same thing with rugby. Everyone's staying at Grotto Bay.
Right.
Right. They're only going to be moving from Grotto Bay to the stadium for training, and then back to Grotto Bay. Same thing for the golfers are staying at Hamilton Princess, and they will be ferried up to Morgan's Point, and then transported over to the Gulf.
Right.
They don't come into contact with any spectators or anything like that, and then they're back to the hotel. Okay. So they're being confined in that what is considered a bubble, right. With very limited. They've even set up where last year when they were doing interviews, we done them inside.
I remember that,
this year everything will be done outside, with backdrops, 3 backdrops, and distancing for everyone. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. All in a year, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, the organizers have kind of, because I've been asking, and they've been forthright with information, which is the good thing. Always be out front with what what's going to be done, and I think golf has had 4 people test positive in the first 6 events they're here, and pretty much it's always the second day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
And they don't have any fans. Bermuda will be the first
that's right.
event where the PGA will allow spectators in.
And that's a limited number, though.
Well, right now the limit is 500 a day. They are trying to work on extending that a little bit, but totally up to the Bermuda government's health people and national security. And then again, a lot will depend on how the spectators behave.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. So right now it's 500. That's the amount of tickets that can be sold on a day. So if you try to get a ticket and you're the 500th first person to try to get a ticket on Sunday, it ain't gonna be no tickets.
So moving forward, right? Let's go back to the local events. Once these events are over and everything is positive, what happens to the big football events during Christmas holidays? During the Christmas holiday.
Well, I think that's where the association will move those games to the stadium, because it allows you 1,000 people.
Right.
And the way it's being done now, right now, everything's done through ticketing at the right. So they can control the amount of people. Right. They have the contact tracing, because when you get your tickets, obviously you have to put your name down. You have to, whether or not you show up or not, you've got your ticket. They have all the information. So if something does transpire at the stadium, at least they know. And you can say, well, I didn't even go to the game, but at least they have all your information. Yeah. So.
It's definitely changing.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's a lot of people. I mean, trust me, I hear people, and sometimes I shake my head. No, not everybody likes being walking around with a mask on and all that. So if you go to the event, sit down, watch the event. Yeah. Because let me show you, we would go to a professional NFL game, basketball game, ice hockey, football, American football, whatever. You sit in your seat. You don't see children running around kicking a ball and all that. No. And you pay and you do that. And so you follow those rules. Right. If not, they kick you out. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why can't you do it when you're home? Why do you have to be different when you're home than when you go out?
I'm gonna be devil's advocate here.
Yeah, yeah.
So the seat that I'm paying for the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna cost me $5+.
Yeah.
Seat I want to play at the National Stadium, $25.
Right.
That's what people say. Our tradition, our history
Mm-hmm.
shows that we allow this to happen at that time.
Yeah.
So therefore, my kid can play how they feel. But it goes right back to what you said earlier. You're not thinking of the other people. You're thinking of yourself.
Yeah, you thinking of yourself. Yeah.
Just put it there. But no,
Yeah.
you're right. That's what it would be. You're just thinking of yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not giving the respect to others.
Mm-hmm.
And the sporting events, those who love sports,
Right.
and enjoying the event itself, and want to come back and see it again and again and support and be a fan
Mm-hmm.
of whatever team you support.
Right.
So your point is valid.
Yeah.
Think of the other person, and you want to see more events, sporting events.
I mean, I've been to plenty of professional sporting events, and even as a journalist, I've been to, and they would say, listen, these are your spots, pick one, and when you get there, stay there. It ain't about oh, I don't like this, let me walk around. Oh no, walk. You better believe it. But those are, you understand the rules and you abide by them when somebody else is talking to you. So why do you disrespect your own people by telling you, listen, it's an all ticketed event. Why well, I gotta go to the BFA and get a ticket? Well, there's reasons.
People are still asking that.
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know some clubs have gotten online set up. So for their home games, you will go online and you purchase a ticket, and they'll have all the information that you need, because obviously you have to put in an email address, you have to put in a telephone number. Your ticket is numbered, so they know come game day, they will have, if their ground holds hypothetically 275 people, that's what they've been given authorized by the government. Then if it's 260 tickets sold, right, on game day they will have somebody there with a laptop, but they don't take any cash. So you would have to, they would set it up, you would pay online, and then you take your ticket and you go to the game. Right. So nothing is being done cash wise at gates because of all the detailed information needed to facilitate the contact tracing.
Is that also the way forward, you think, now for our sports? Say this is in place for various events in Bermuda that we used to go to the turnstile and play. That could be the norm going forward online.
Yeah. You're guaranteed that everybody in the grounds, you know who they are.
That and the numbers.
Yeah. So if something happens, you know how many people you have to get out of the stadium. You know how many people are, well, apparently are. Because remember, what you will have is tickets sold plus tickets swiped going through.
Right.
So if you have 200 tickets sold, but only 180 people have gone through, and it's 11 people standing outside, you still have to say to those 11 people, you can't come because you might be running late. You have a ticket.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So basically, if you're sold out, you're sold out.
Right. So it's no more, okay, we're sold out, but I'll let you stand over here.
Right. No more of that. No more of that. Remember years ago, and I don't know about nowadays, but years ago, you used to have maybe in the region of 200 to 300 people standing outside the gate cup match and waiting for the game to end to come in.
In the end, you talking about?
At the end, yeah.
On the second day.
Yeah. Those days are over. Those days are over.
So you're thinking now, that's what you're going to, so regarding cup match for next year, you think it's be online ticketing the way?
It would be best to do it that way.
Because of what's happening now.
Yeah.
And it's being
even if, see, the thing is, right, and this is what we have to be cautious about. Hypothetically, COVID, and I'm going to use Trump's word, disappears.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, this is words.
Okay. In our minds, it's disappeared. But we would have a gathering of over 15 or between 10 and 15,000 people at one location that could possibly spike COVID again, and then all of a sudden we have a problem.
Right.
How are we going to do it? It's best that we have some form of control of knowing who's around. And yeah, it might cost a little more money, but long term, yeah, it's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. Then that will pay off when you say long term, not just for our health and safety, but to move forward again.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen. And I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. I can see that happening where eastern counties, western counties,
yeah,
netball, track and field, yeah, drifter games for drifter coming next year. Yeah. You probably have to purchase your tickets online. Mm-hmm. It's no more going to the turnstile and purchasing your ticket.
Those days are over.
And then your point is valid again. You know, this section of those 500 people is sold out, and 400 show up, and people say, "Well, there's 100 seats that are available." I can't put you there because they've been bought.
But bought already. You can't sell something twice.
Right? I'm sure there'll be a time limit where they could probably say, "Okay, if that party of 100 people are not there by a certain time, then they could probably open it up."
You sold the ticket already.
But what happens? Okay, so your experience on the professional side, that person may not come.
So they take it already. You can't sell a loaf of bread twice.
That's right, because the only person that can sit there is those who are already in their seats.
Thank you.
That's right. That are in the seats, in stands, that can sit in the empty seat.
Right.
And take their chance to the person who asks. But those who say, "Well, there's you're right. You're absolutely right." Yeah. Good point, Mr. Bairstow. So, Carifta, obviously, they're taking notes, and Donald Rayner is mm-hmm. on top of our stuff. They're on their management team.
Right.
Always looking to improve and make things better. Mm-hmm. I can see them doing that.
Yeah, they're one of the biggest drawbacks for them this time around or next year during the Carifta Games will be how are the other countries dealing with it when it comes down to qualifications and then sending a team. Because if we were to have the games in December, we probably won't have half of the countries coming.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
So if they don't get it under control, in their country, then we can almost guarantee they'll be axed out for the event. And if you look at a country like, we use Trinidad, Bahamas, and Jamaica, they generally bring a strong following, and they have strong followings here in Bermuda, but they generally bring a big entourage, which 9 times out of 10, they will not be coming this time around.
Because of the,
yeah.
Wow. That's been happening.
Yeah.
Thank you for that history, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for that lesson. Let's take a second commercial break for the day, and then when we come back at 2:15, we will have Dave Wolf who will be joining us on Fit for Life with Dave Wolf at 2:15.
Sorry, folks, I missed the 47 and 57, but when we come back at 2:07, even if it's for 7 seconds, we'll come back for.
Actually, 2:07 is perfect for you. Think about it. 2:07.
Oh yeah.
7.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come back at Aston Villa time.